Hey, welcome back everyone. Today's video is going to be an updated guide to parrying the mobs in the crypts. Now, I have an old video of this and not a lot has changed outside the wraith and the skeleton champion, but I have a better setup. We got 2K base recording, we got 120 FPS, so the slow-mo and freeze frames look a lot better. So I figured it would be worthwhile getting some better images and some better slow-mo stuff for helping out the new players. So, now that we pieced up these fighters, let's hop into parrying the skeleton footman, the bread and butter, the easiest in the game, honestly. It's very simple. It's very simple. You're going to aim up to the left. It works very consistently. However, if you aim too far left, you will miss it. And that's just how it's going to go. So don't aim too far left. For the horizontal attack, aim off above its head to the left about character model and a half, roughly. You've seen that spot that I had free framed and highlighted. Something like that's going to work pretty well. You can aim a lot further left too. It's pretty forgiving. The vertical attack, you're going to aim off, up, and left very high. Like very high. But you can also be much closer and aim directly above it rather than to the left. As long as you're close enough and aiming high enough that the longsword is up above its head. That way it interrupts the vertical attack. Because if you're too far, it doesn't have that big a reach. So it'll miss you. Alright. Now next up we have the skeleton guardsman, which is kind of annoying. As you can see. There's two ways that you can really kind of get it to parry, but you gotta make sure you catch the blade. Right? You see how we catch his hand right here? The attack has a really weird motion with the animation on this mob. And it can literally just hit you at random times when you really don't think it's going to. One of the biggest issues you'll catch yourself when you're aiming to parry this, if you're aiming up, is aiming too far left, like I just showed. Right? You want to aim a little less left and a little more up. That way you catch the blade as it hits the rotation point around its wrist action in the animation. It's kind of wonky. There's another spot you can parry down low. You can see here why you got to aim up and how you can catch that rotation by being further up. But if you aim too far up or too far left, you'll miss it. Sometimes he'll hit through. Sometimes he'll catch your toes and deal damage to your toes. Another way you can parry it is by aiming lower. You got to shift a little left, right? You got to shift a little left and back, and then aim left about waist height. I don't use this one very often. I'm pretty inconsistent with this one. I normally end up moving too far forward. The horizontal attack only seems to proc anymore after you hit the shield. Honestly, it's the same exact parry position as the skeleton footman's horizontal attack. The spear skeleton, very easy. Ignore all the other moves, push directly into him. He will always do this attack if you're on top of him. You're going to aim right above his head, stick the longsword blade through his hands, and then kite left to do your riposte. That way you don't hit limb damage, and you headshot with your first riposte so you can one-shot him or two-shot him easily. The bane of our existence, Thanos, axe skeleton. Backstep, crouch up, and look up. You have to catch either the hand directly above the hand or directly on the axe head. You can see right here, we're a little further up on it. Doesn't have a hitbox at this point. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. I have no idea. It's changed substantially. They seem to have scuffed some of the hitboxes during the wipe update. I have no idea what's going on, man. I really don't. But you can see how far up you need to aim above his head right here. You're going to crouch. You're going to backstep into your crouch. And that's going to keep you alive occasionally. You're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. It's just going to happen. The horizontal attack has the same issue. Part of the half below the head, between the hand, just doesn't have a hitbox. You can do this spot consistently and see that it consistently doesn't work. If you're backstepping and you strafe, you will get hit 99 out of 100 times. Back strafe or backstep, don't strafe. Only move straight back in line. All right. You can see on the horizontal attack, you really have to catch near the axe head. There is some forgiveness in this hitbox, but really you got to make sure you throw it out to the right far enough or you're not going to catch it. All right. It's going to take practice. You're going to get chunked. Make sure you get a hound skull on, get something with headshot reduction, whatever. So you have some more forgiveness while you're learning. You can see here how that spot that normally is unparryable works just fine, but I think it's because we were a little closer to the hand than we were to the head. It's inconsistent, man. It's inconsistent. Iron Mace has got some work to do on him still. There's no two ways about it, but that's how we're approaching the X-Skeleton these days, and it works pretty well. Zweihander, I've stopped crouching. There's a crouch parry I use pretty often, but this mob, I would just backstep space. If you aim far enough over, you will catch it reliably. However, there is some issues with the hitbox on this too. You got to catch it near the tip of the sword pretty consistently. There's a spot right here on the second attack. This is normally your best one to parry. You're about a full 2 character models right. Works pretty well. But if you're too close or you don't aim far enough over, it'll just go right through. Right? It'll just go right through. There's no hitbox there. That's consistent as well. So that's why a lot of people use the crouch method. Because even on this side, you can see, unless you're right on the tip, it can really throw it off, right? And if you're too close, you'll get hit by the hilt of the weapon. So, don't be too close. Make sure you're backstepping. Make sure you're aiming far enough over. There's just not much you can do about it. However, if you're struggling with this method, the only reason I recommend this method is for dealing with the nightmare variants so that you're not crouched and static because they have a sweep, a leg sweep. You can crouch and look up. However, the hitboxes are still an issue. So crouch and look to the sides, right? Still inconsistent, but if you crouch and look left, you can reliably catch the first, trade your 2 posts, and clear it. Alright, works very well. Mummies have a lot of health. Mummies have, I think, still bonus PDR when they're coming out of the ground. So when you're poking them on the ground, it doesn't do as much damage. This attack, coming from the right, you gotta aim up above his head a little to the left. You really gotta make sure that you're doing this position to stick your longsword blade forward or you won't catch it. There's very, very little range on it, right? Very little range on the swipes. This dash forward, don't aim to the right. You'll get hit every time. Aim for the left hand. And this one is very forgiving. You can see how you aim off the left of his body, slightly above his head. This is the attack you're going to parry 9 out of 10 times. He really likes to throw this attack in rapid succession. All the mobs do. All the variants of Mummy, I should say, do. So you're just going to have to get used to it. The attack from the right, you're just going to line up down left on the waist. But doesn't happen too often in comparison to that, as you can see. The zombies, you won't get a chance to parry. Normally, you're going to be cutting these back while dealing with them by DPSing and spacing and manipulating your attack pattern or attack timing from your attack pattern. But for the attack from the right, you aim off the right side. From the attack to the left, you aim off the left hip. And it works pretty well. Don't space too far because they don't have that big of reach, right? They have some momentum forward, but not that much, right? Not that much. So it's easy to miss them. You can see how quickly they reset their poison cloud. If you miss a couple, that's why it's normally just easier to kite back rather than try to parry them. It's nice to know the parry spot because we can clear them quick because repulse damage is big, 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 right? But onto the one that gave most players an issue when the game first came out, the archer is very easy to parry. You're literally going to line up the angle of the longsword directly on the bow, right? Directly above the top. You're going to rest the line on the bow. It's going to work, and you can push forward. I used to use this weird method. It was dumb, convoluted, unnecessary. It works, but it's way more finicky because the tip of the blade is smaller. Always sidestep. Always sidestep. There's no point to parry the second attack. Sidestep, one-shot them. As long as you have the damage, you'll also be able to one-shot the elites, and the nightmares are a little harder. Skeleton crossbows have a cone. They will shoot randomly in the cone. As you can see, they shot to the right. I shot to center, and the next shot is going to go in another different spot. So it's inconsistent, not really reliably parryable. So, dodge to the right, dodge to the left, crouch, duck, look down, save your head, go in, DPS trade with your left click to clear him. That's really the only option. The wraith used to be a lot easier because you could parry both the swipe and the dash. Now the swipe is really all we look to parry. The dash we dodge by jumping back and right. You got to aim pretty far off screen. You got to catch the hand. You got to catch the blade of the weapon. All right. If you don't catch the hand or the blade of the weapon, you end up getting screwed. You want to kite to the right whenever he does the dash attack. Right? It's the easiest way to dodge it. The most reliable way to dodge it. Catch the attack. You can see how we're off the screen. We catch it by the hand. We trade one more post. You do it again. Rinse and repeat. If you throw out 2 like here, you will get hit 99 out of 100 times. And once you get hit, you're kind of screwed because you're slowed. And you will continue to get hit unless you get a couple parries in a row. Alright? So, don't try and parry it. As you can see, the dash, kite back, and to the right, jump to the side. Parry the slash, and you're going to trade 1 hit each time. Slap. Right? The dash, inconsistent. Don't want to deal with it. Parry, slap, and then we deal with it. There is a way you can kind of catch it, but it's so inconsistent, there's no reason. The best way, kite to the right, jump, sidestep, ignore the dash, parry the slash. Works good. Skeleton Champ just got reworked not too long ago, within the month. New attack combos. He has a 1, 2, 3. You can see over here, you have to aim pretty far over to catch his overhead. This is the only attack that is actually consistently parryable, guys. Straight up. This and the shield bash. But the shield bash has such low range, you just can't get anything. You can see the stab, the tracer is just wildly not correct. You just take damage from the tracer despite the texture of the, or mesh of the weapon just not even being there. So they got some work to do on this mob. Very inconsistent. Your best bet is to kite it, throw poke, kite it, throw poke. You can parry this attack. You can parry the leg attack. You can parry the thrust, but they're very inconsistent. I've played the game a lot. A lot. You can see here how you have to aim kind of right off the right, but if your spacing's poorly, you're going to get caught. It's going to hit through it. I'll try and show you. I think it's right here as well. It just goes through it. It just goes through it and hits you in the leg, right? The first attack's really the only one that's consistently parryable. The shield bash is as well because the shield has a huge hitbox. Here again, you can see just goes right through. The hitboxes on the Skeleton Champ animations are dreadful right now. Dreadful. If you're going to parry, make sure you sidestep when you throw your riposte. It helps make the slat or the stab attack miss a lot more often. All in all, the change to the mob is really cool. Iron Mace needs to dial in the hitboxes. The hitboxes are atrocious, and there's no two ways about it. Alright. Now, I was thinking about doing a Nightmare update or Nightmare parry version, but I'm not sure. I'm just getting this one out so that I can teach the new players how to deal with it in normal, since that's where most of them are playing. I will get to work on the Infernal Guide next, probably. Show you guys how to parry the Demons in Abyss, and we'll come back to it. But that's all I got. Hopefully it helps. Let me know if it doesn't. Let me know if it does. And good luck in the dungeon. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and be safe.